My brother Harun Cheruiyot, I knew you were worthy, but I now know you are much more worthy than I thought you were. You have actually surprised me. I remember once I made a phone call to you and I was asking you, how do we manage this thing of Madam Nyakango? And you said, please tell her to know that we are trying to figure out what to do. And I took the message, and that's when I knew that you are a serious person. I'm proud of you. Keep it up. Madam Speaker, I also would like to mention the name of Madam Nyakango, who's the Controller of Budget, and Madam Nancy, who's the Auditor General, the two incredible women of this republic. If I had my own reward, I would give them. Because when everything else seems to have been failing, some of us have been talking to them, and all the time we feared for their lives. Why? Not because anything would happen, but the costs were too high. The expectation was much higher. They have done their job, and I'm so happy that this house, which is known as the Oversighting House, has seen the light. My colleagues who are in this house, I'm very lucky because I've lost my voice a bit. I'm lucky because I have the institutional memory. I have been in politics for the last 30 years. Those 30 years I've been in elective politics, about 22. Madam Speaker, the problems, the way Mzee Odinga said about Kenya, have not been started by President William Ruto. If you look at the history, and Madam Speaker, the other day people were asking me, how did you tell that these young Gen Zs are actually going to come to the streets after 1 year? I said, I look at the trend. If you look at independence 1962-3, that was the 20 years beyond where the liberation movement took place. After that, we got independence. It took another 20 years for us to have a military coup. The people who are guiding and who are within that military coup are not old men like Jaramogi or Charles Njonjo at that time. It was young Gen Z students of the University of Nairobi and young people who believed in the ideal of what Kenya was. The second issue that came up, Madam Speaker, was after, by the year 2002, there was another 20 years. Then you come to 2002 is when Kibaki was elected, is when we have a referendum, is when we have a new constitution, and then we say Kenya is now on the right path. After that, Madam Speaker, we did not follow the letter of the constitution. What many of us have never understood is that your democracy is as valid and as reasonable and as verifiable and is implementable as the people who are willing to follow and implement that constitution.